The identity debt. Why 90% of achievers are stuck in a success trap. Most achievers try to fix overwhelm by stacking more tactics. The top 1% start somewhere else. They audit the identity contracts their nervous system is still paying for. If you feel busy but behind, you're likely trapped serving an outdated self at compound interest. Here's the cost. When your current role outgrows your self-concept, your brain flags mismatch as threat. That chronic vigilance silently drains 30 to 50% of your working memory. No app can outrun that tax. In this episode, we'll install a lightweight identity OS that restores usable attention by aligning what you do with who you believe you are. You'll learn a measurable identity ledger, the 3 root levers from self-determination theory, autonomy, competence, safety, and a 72-hour stabilization protocol that calms dopamine noise fast. By the end, you'll know how to reprice roles, renegotiate hidden promises, and get back to 70% of your mental energy without heroic willpower. Let's start with the nervous system ledger. Why you feel busy but behind, the nervous system ledger. You're not lazy. Your nervous system is running an outdated budget. Here's the problem most people miss. Performance often evolves faster than identity. You ship more, lead more, and suddenly your internal story is still scrappy operator, while your calendar says strategic leader. That gap triggers the brain's contingency detection, constant scanning for do I really belong here? The scan is expensive. It burns attention on vigilance instead of creation, which is why your day feels like sprinting in sand. The reason this feels so sticky is simple economics. Productivity advice piles on optimizations, which raise perceived threat when identity lags. Think, more inputs, tighter deadlines, public dashboards, your body hears, higher stakes, less safety. Cortisol edges up, dopamine chases novelty to self-soothe. Net result, you're wired and tired, alert but unfocused. Actually, let me back up and name the cost centers so you can see them. First, approval loops. When your old contract says be useful or be nothing, every request looks like a threat to worth. You over-respond, over-prepare, and pay inattention. Second, sunk status. You've invested years building skill X. Your new role needs skill Y. Protecting the legacy becomes a hidden tax. You defend dashboards and rituals that no longer move value. Third, legacy skill protection. You default to tasks that prove competence yesterday, avoiding the true rate-limiting skill today. Now map this to self-determination theory. Your brain wants 3 things: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Let's call relatedness felt safety here. When identity debt accumulates, all 3 wobble. Autonomy drops because your language shifts to I have to, which feels coerced. Competence blurs because your scoreboard still measures volume, not the new bottleneck skill. Safety erodes because visibility rises while self-concept lags, so success feels, weirdly, unsafe. And here's the kicker. The vigilance required to juggle mismatched roles and metrics can drain 30 to 50% of working memory. That's why simple planning starts to feel like climbing a hill with ankle weights. You're not out of discipline, you're out of untaxed RAM. Once you see the ledger, grind stops looking heroic and starts looking expensive. Optimization without identity alignment is like taking out a high-interest loan to cover last month's bills. You get temporary relief and long-term drag. Let me show you exactly how this plays out in a day. You open your laptop and check 5 dashboards because you've tied safety to nothing's on fire. Each check buys 30 seconds of calm and 3 minutes of context switching. You say yes to a meeting because your old contract says reliable equals valuable. That yes costs an hour of deep work plus a recovery dip after. You push an extra task at 9 p.m. to deserve tomorrow's rest. That push buys guilt relief now and sleep fragmentation later. The ledger bleeds on both sides. Now here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Change the interest rate before you change the workload. Interest, in identity terms, is the willpower, attention, and recovery taxed by each line item. When you reduce autonomy debt, competence debt, or safety debt, the same task costs less. You feel the difference as clarity and the absence of pre-work dread. A quick micro story. Last week, a client scaled from senior IC to director. Metrics were up, but his felt safety crashed. We changed 7 words, from I have to fix blockers to I choose to allocate 2 value events because we're compounding delegation. Then we switched his morning scan from 5 dashboards to 1 value events board. He reported a 20% relief in mental load within 3 days, same output, lower interest. If you remember nothing else, success without identity integration creates moral friction. Your wins feel like they violate who you are or how you want to live. Friction invites threat, threat taxes attention. So what do? First, measure the ledger debts, assets, and interest rates so you can see where attention is leaking. Second, stabilize the state so your brain stops compensating with novelty. There's a 72-hour window that helps your reward system settle, which we'll use as a reset. Third, pull the autonomy, competence, and safety levers with precise language and replacement metrics that match your current game. Once you nail this lens, everything else clicks. You'll stop asking, how do I fit more in? And start asking, how do I pay fewer identity taxes? That's the point where busy shifts into effective, and that's where we're headed next. The identity ledger debts, assets, interest rates. Let's build your identity ledger so you can see the money leaks. Think of it as a one-page balance sheet for your nervous system. Debts, assets, and the interest rate you're paying in attention, willpower, and recovery. Start with debts. Debts are roles, labels, metrics, audiences, and rituals that no longer fit the current game. If your title says leader but your calendar says firefighter, that role is probably a debt. If your metric is hours online instead of value events shipped, that metric is a debt. If your audience is the old team that expects instant access, that audience is a debt. If your ritual is opening 5 dashboards before you think, that ritual is a debt. Debts aren't evil. They're just yesterday's safety strategies, charging compound interest today. Now list assets. Assets are skills, principles, values, relationships, and rituals that still compound in your new role. A skill like clear delegation compounds. A principle like 1 meaningful output per day compounds. Values like truth over performance compound because they reduce approval loops. Relationships that respect boundaries compound. Recovery rituals, consistent sleep window, sunlight, breath cadence, absolutely compound because they lower baseline threat and restore working memory. Next, the interest rate. Each line item, debt or asset has a rate. How much extra attention, willpower, and recovery it costs you to carry it. High interest shows up as dread before you start, vigilance during, and fatigue after. Low interest feels like glide. The trick most people miss is you can change the rate before you change the workload by pulling autonomy, competence, and safety levers. Same task, lower tax. Here's how to score it fast. Give each role or ritual a traffic light, green light, amber, red. Green light means low interest. You start easily, stay present, and recover fast. Amber means variable interest, sometimes smooth, sometimes spiky. Red means high interest. You need pep talks to begin, you context switch to escape, and you feel wired or ashamed after. If you're not sure, check language clues in your head. I have to usually signals red. I should is often amber. I choose to because. Tends to be green or trending green, because autonomy lowers the rate. Let me show you exactly how to write the ledger. 1 page. Left column, roles and rituals. Middle column, current metric or definition of success. Right column, interest notes and lever to pull. Example, role, director of product. Metric, number of meetings attended. Interest high, safety debt from visibility without control. Lever, autonomy, reprice success as 2 value events per day. Competence, practice, agenda to decision. Safety, reduce audience by killing 1 dashboard. That single reframing often cuts perceived load by 20% within a week, because your brain stops scanning 5 rooms to feel safe. Add an MVM, minimum viable move, as your credit line. The MVM is a tiny change that lets you service the debt without crashing the system. If say no to all meetings spikes threat, the MVM is convert 1 recurring meeting to an async doc this week. Small wins are payments that reduce interest. You're not clearing the principal yet, you're stopping the bleed. Now create a weekly view so this isn't a one-time clarity high. Every week, pick 2 green light roles to double down on, 1 amber to reprice, and kill or park 1 red. Kill means delete outright or hand off. Park means negotiate a date to revisit. Use precise language to lock it in. I choose to pause this deliverable for 30 days because the bottleneck skill this quarter is stakeholder mapping. That because matters. It recruits your prefrontal cortex, restores agency, and signals safety to your nervous system. Common mistakes. 1. Mistaking nostalgia for an asset. If a ritual makes you feel like your old self but doesn't move current value, it's probably a debt with a friendly face. 2. Measuring assets with the wrong metric. Don't score a learning block by hours, score by learning velocity, number of reps to reach a clear capability. 3. Trying to pay off every debt in a week. That's a heroic sprint that rebuilds interest. Service the highest rate debt first and protect green assets so your baseline stays stable. If you remember nothing else, your identity ledger is a living instrument panel. Debts, assets, and interest tell you where attention is leaking and where it compounds. Next, we'll pull the 3 levers, autonomy, competence, safety, to change those interest rates across the board. The 3 levers, autonomy, competence, safety, root causes. Before we add more tactics, we change the interest rate with 3 levers. Autonomy, competence, and safety are the root causes behind most identity debt. When these needs from self-determination theory are met, motivation feels self-propelled. When they're taxed, you feel coerced, clumsy, and exposed, so your brain pays with vigilance instead of focus. Start with autonomy. The thing most people miss is that the body treats "I have to" like a threat cue. Coercion, even self-coercion, spikes cortisol and invites avoidance. Autonomy flips that. When you say, "I choose to because," you recruit your prefrontal cortex to compute reasons and trade-offs. That moves you from defense to ownership, which instantly lowers the interest rate on the same task. Why it matters. Without autonomy, you spend energy resisting your own plan. With it, effort converts into progress instead of friction. What's the technique? Use the 2-part script. Part 1, I choose to concrete action. Part 2, because true reason tied to value or strategy. Keep it specific. I choose to ship 2 value events before noon because compounding early wins reduces context switching. Then make it measurable with a replacement metric you control, inputs, not applause. The how, write 3 choose to because lines for your top roles each morning. If it feels fake, you've picked someone else's reason. Adjust the because until your body says, that's honest. Common mistakes with autonomy. 1. Softening the verb, I'll try to. That reintroduces uncertainty and raises interest again. 2. Vague reasons, because it's important. Your brain doesn't buy fuzzy because clauses. Tie it to a value or a strategy you can see, because delegation speed is our bottleneck this quarter. Quick win, take 1 red item from your ledger and rewrite it with the script. Most people feel 10-20% relief in dread within minutes, because the threat scanner sees a choice, not a demand. Now competence. This is about matching the game you're in with the skill that actually moves it. The reason this works is you stop protecting legacy skill and start practicing the rate-limiting skill now. The brain hates novice pain, so it hides in proven tasks. That's legacy skill bias. It feels productive and keeps you stuck. Competence leverages a different script. I'm practicing X to compound Y. You normalize being early in a skill and tie it to a compounding payoff, which reframes novice pain as investment. What's the technique? Identify the single constraint skill for this season. Ask, if I were 2x better at one skill, which would collapse most other problems? Examples: stakeholder mapping, agenda to decision, long-form synthesis, hiring bar clarity. Then set input metrics, reps per week, decisions closed, pages produced. Score learning velocity, not hours. The how? Schedule a 60-90 minute competence block 3 afternoons a week with a clear rep target. Track number of imperfect reps shipped instead of time spent. Quick win, ship 3 messy reps this week. The gain is reduced interest. Your brain stops defending yesterday's skills and starts compounding tomorrow's. Mistakes to avoid. 1. Mixing scoreboards, judging learning blocks by outcome metrics. Keep practice safe from performance grading. 2. Hiding practice inside real work so you can label it productive. That blurs feedback and slows learning. 3. Binging skill work in heroic bursts. Competence compounds through cadence, not spikes. Consistency beats intensity because it stabilizes safety while you stretch. Now safety. If success feels unsafe, your nervous system will sabotage pace to protect the past. Safety debt shows up when visibility rises faster than identity integration. You overcheck, overpromise, and overwork to neutralize imagined threats. The lever here is safety signaling. Show your brain there's no tiger today. You do that physically, linguistically, and socially. Why this matters? Threat monitoring can drain 30-50% of working memory. Lower the baseline threat and you get that RAM back. What's the technique? 3 moves. 1. Physical safety. Close loops you're carrying in your head by writing them down, then pick the smallest next action per loop. 2. Language safety. State boundaries with truth and choice. I'm safe to disappoint expectations I didn't agree to. I choose to respond by 4 p.m. because deep work protects delivery quality. 3. Social safety. Shrink the audience that can trigger alarm. Fewer dashboards, fewer unsolicited inputs, fewer open DMs. The how? Pick 1 boundary phrase you'll use this week, 1 dashboard you'll kill, and 1 loop you'll close on paper. Add a predictable micro-recovery cue to anchor calm, sunlight in the morning, 5 minutes nasal breathing at 5-6 breaths per minute, steady meal timing to keep glycemic swings from masquerading as threat. These are not wellness platitudes. They're inputs that reduce false alarms so focus returns. Integration is where the magic compounds. Autonomy turns have to into choose to, cutting coercion. Competence replaces legacy proof with targeted practice, cutting avoidance. Safety reduces baseline threat so your gains stick. Pulling 1 lever often drops the interest rate across multiple identity lines. Example: phrase shift plus a new input metric plus 1 boundary can produce a very real 20% relief in 3 days because you've changed the nervous system math behind the work. A quick micro story. A founder stuck in approval loops rewrote her investor updates from impress with volume to I choose to report 2 value events because our thesis is decision throughput. She set a competence block on agenda to decision and killed 2 vanity dashboards. Within a week, she reported fewer checks, smoother meetings, and deeper afternoons. The same calendar, less tax. If you remember nothing else, autonomy picks the game, competence upgrades the tool, safety protects the player. Change those, and the same workload feels lighter because it is. Up next, we'll stabilize your state with a 72-hour dopamine drain reset so these levers have room to take hold. Dopamine Drain Reset, 72-hour stabilization protocol. Before we renegotiate identity contracts, we need a calmer baseline. Think of this as clearing noise from the channel so your choices actually register. The goal over 72 hours isn't perfection. It's to reduce novelty spikes, lower cortisol, and give your reward system a steady signal again. Full balance takes longer, but 3 days is enough to feel traction and prove to your brain that change is safe. Here's the frame: remove high-variance inputs that hijack attention, then add predictable bodily anchors that restore focus. We're not fasting from dopamine. We're stopping the flood of cheap pings so real rewards can land. You'll run 4 lanes in parallel: novelty, breath and light, fuel and sleep, and safety signaling. Lane 1, cut novelty binges. For 72 hours, eliminate the top 3 fast reward loops that grab you most: social media, news cycles, and non-essential notifications. Log out, move the apps off your home screen, and set your phone to grayscale. Replace doom scrolls with a fixed micro-pleasure menu: a 10-minute walk, a page of a physical book, a cup of tea, a stretch sequence. The rule is predictability over intensity. You're training your brain that pleasure still exists. It's just steady and earned. Lane 2, respiratory cadence and sunlight anchors. Morning, step outside within an hour of waking for 5-10 minutes. No sunglasses if safe, horizon gaze, slow nasal breathing. Midday, hit another 5-10 minute light break. Afternoon dip, run 5 minutes of 5-6 breaths per minute. Inhale for 5, exhale for 5. These anchors do 2 things. They downshift your autonomic arousal and stabilize circadian rhythm so sleep cues fire on time. Less jitter, more usable focus. Lane 3, glycemic stability and sleep cues. Eat consistent meals with protein and fiber. Avoid big sugar spikes that masquerade as anxiety, then crash into brain fog. Pick a 90-minute sleep window and defend it all 3 nights. 30 minutes before bed, close loops physically. Write tomorrow's first next actions, park open tabs, put your phone in another room. Then add a wind-down cue you'll repeat: dim lights, warm shower, or a short stretch. Your body learns the sequence. We're safe, we rest. Lane 4, safety signaling, close loops and tell the truth. Write a quick capture list of everything crowding your head. For each item, decide the smallest next action or the date you'll reconsider. Then send 1 truthful message that reduces social threat. I'm focused on 2 value events for 72 hours. I'll reply after 4 p.m. each day. Or, I'm pausing low priority updates this week to protect delivery quality. This isn't drama, it's clarity. Your nervous system sees fewer invisible obligations. Now structure your days. Morning, state reset. Light breath, one choose to because line for your top role. Do one minimum viable move before checking inputs, 5 minutes is enough. Midday, take a 10-minute walk without your phone, then reopen your identity ledger and kill one red task or convert it to a sync. Afternoon, competence block. Track reps, not hours. Evening, close loops on paper, safety phrase spoken out loud, same wind down. Common sticking points and how to handle them. If you slip and check feeds, don't spiral. Label it, novelty hit, then run a 60-second reset. Stand, exhale longer than you inhale, look at a far object, sip water. If cravings spike, use the boring replacement rule. Pick the pre-listed micro-pleasure and do it for 2 minutes. If someone pushes back on slower replies, use boundary language. I choose to reply in a batch at 4 because it keeps delivery on track. Consistency beats intensity here. Partial compliance still helps. What should you feel? Day 1 often brings restlessness and reach for phone reflexes. Day 2, you'll notice a wider pause between urge and action. Day 3, a quieter background, less scan, more presence. Your quick win target is a 15% focus return, one solid 60-90 minute block without escape hatches. Track it. Check the box. That proof builds trust in the system and sets up the deeper identity work. If you remember nothing else, we're not punishing pleasure. We're repricing it so attention compounds. Lower the noise, install anchors, speak truth, and your brain stops burning RAM on threat scans. With baseline calmer, we can renegotiate the hidden
identity
promises
contract
that keep
audit,
rebuilding
5
5 hidden promises. With your baseline calmer, let's surface the hidden promises your nervous system is still paying. These aren't beliefs you say out loud. They're contracts you signed to survive earlier games. We'll name 5, show how each taxes autonomy, competence, and safety, and give you a replacement clause that drops the interest rate fast. Hidden promise 1, be useful or be nothing. Why this sticks? Early wins came from being the fixer, the helper, the person who replies first. The nervous system equated usefulness with safety, so every request now feels like a worth test. Costs, autonomy collapses into I have to, competence stalls because you overserve low-value asks, and safety degrades as your day fills with other people's urgency. Audit questions, which pings trigger instant yes. Where do you write long replies to avoid feeling selfish? Replacement clause, I choose to create value, not prove value, because our scoreboard is 2 value events per day. Boundary script, I'm safe to disappoint expectations I didn't agree to. I'll respond after 4 p.m. quick win. Batch replies once and convert one live fix into an async doc. Expect a visible drop in pre-work dread. Hidden promise 2, never waste the sunk cost. This is sunk status in disguise. You poured years into a function, a tool, a personal brand. The brain hates loss, so it defends the past with rituals that don't serve the current game. Costs, autonomy narrows to protecting old proof, competence freezes around legacy skills, and safety clings to dashboards that signal relevance. Audit questions, what do you keep checking that would not matter if you started today? Which meetings exist to justify your prior role? Replacement clause, I'm practicing the constraint skill because it compounds bigger wins than defending sunk work. Boundary script, I'm parking this report for 30 days because stakeholder mapping is our bottleneck. Minimum viable move, end one vanity report and reclaim the hour for 3 messy reps in the new skill. You'll feel the identity sting, then the relief of honest alignment. Hidden promise 3, always be the reliable one. Reliability is good. Identity-fused reliability is a trap. When your worth equals never letting anyone down, you'll overpromise, avoid boundaries, and turn every slip into a panic. Costs, autonomy erodes into permanent availability, competence suffers because deep work gets diced by micro-yeses, and safety runs hot from constant threat scanning. Audit questions, where do you answer fast to manage image rather than impact? Which commitments have no expiry or renegotiation date? Replacement clause, I choose reliable delivery, not permanent availability, because decision throughput beats instant response. Boundary script, I confirm delivery by Friday. I'll batch comms daily at 4 to protect quality. Quick win, install a graduated no, ladder no, negotiate, redirect. Try one redirect today. This fits X's lane, looping them here. Hidden promise 4, win by outworking. Pain as virtue fuel works until it backfires. You tie safety to pushing harder than anyone, so rest feels dangerous and recovery looks like slacking. Costs. Autonomy collapses into compulsion, competence plateaus because you trade thinking for hours, and safety becomes yoked to exhaustion. Audit questions. Where do you add late pushes to deserve rest? What metric rewards time over throughput? Replacement clause. I choose to outdecide, not outwork, because value events compound faster than hours. Metric shift. Replace hours online with value events and decisions closed. Boundary script. I stop at 6 because recovery protects tomorrow's decision quality. Minimum viable move. 1 full stop time tonight, then track next day clarity. That single experiment breaks the loop and restores a slice of agency. Hidden promise 5. Be the brand. When your name equals the product, expression narrows. You censor curiosity to keep a polished image, and your nervous system defends the persona like a fragile asset. Costs. Autonomy shrinks to audience expectation, competence ossifies because you avoid public novicehood, and safety tanks as visibility rises without identity integration. Audit questions. What topics do you avoid because they don't fit? Where do you produce safe volume over honest depth? Replacement clause. I choose to be a person who creates a brand, not a brand who performs a person, because exploration compounds. Safety script. I'm safe to disappoint the algorithm this week. I'll publish 1 learning piece outside the mold. Minimum viable move. 1 practice in public artifact. A page of thinking, a behind-the-scenes process note, a draft. Expect fewer likes, more relief, and regained creative bandwidth. How to run the audit quickly. Take your identity ledger and add a hidden promise column. For each red or amber role, guess the contract in 1 sentence. Then write the replacement clause using autonomy, competence, or safety language. Speak it out loud once. If your body flinches, that's data. Tweak the because phrase until it lands. Next, price the interest. How many points of attention, willpower, and recovery does this promise tax per week? Tackle the highest rate promise first with a minimum viable move and 1 boundary script. Common mistakes. 1. Trying to rip out a contract in a day. That spikes threat and rebounds into old behavior. Reprice first, then reduce exposure. 2. Swapping 1 trap for another. I'll be useful by being the best at saying no. Keep the goal value, not image maintenance. 3. Running the audit silently and keeping old audiences in the dark. Send 1 clear message to reset expectations. Your nervous system relaxes when reality matches the plan. If you remember nothing else, outdated promises are invisible taxes. Name them, reprice them with precise language, and make 1 minimum payment this week. That opens space to practice new competence without your threat scanner dragging you back. Next, we'll turn these clauses into day-to-day language you can deploy on demand. Language alchemy, scripts that reprice identity. We've surfaced the hidden promises. Now we change what they cost with precise language. Words are levers. They frame agency, signal safety, and set the scoreboard your brain plays to. 3 classes of scripts do the heavy lifting: autonomy, competence, and safety. Then we swap and replacement metrics that stop feeding the old loop. Start with autonomy. Coercive phrasing, I have to, I should, they need me to, keeps your nervous system on defense. The autonomy script flips it. I choose to because, 2 rules. Make the action concrete and the because phrase true. If your body rejects the because, it's PR, not truth. Examples you can use today. I choose to ship 2 value events before noon because early decisions reduce context switching. I choose to batch replies at 4 because uninterrupted mornings protect delivery quality. I choose to decline this meeting because agenda to decision is the bottleneck this week. Say them out loud once. That brief pause you feel, that's interest dropping. Your prefrontal cortex is back online, so dread softens and focus returns. Now competence. Legacy skill bias makes you hide in what you're already good at. The competence script normalizes being a beginner and links it to compounding upside. I'm practicing X to compound Y, keep X specific and Y visible. Try. I'm practicing stakeholder mapping to compound decision speed. I'm practicing long-form synthesis to compound strategic clarity. I'm practicing delegation prompts to compound team throughput. Then protect practice with input metrics you control, number of reps, drafts, or decisions closed. Say the script before a block and score reps after. This reframes novice pain as investment, not evidence you don't belong. Safety next. If success feels unsafe, you'll self-slow. Safety scripts shrink the audience, clarify boundaries, and remove invisible obligations. 3. That work. I'm safe to disappoint expectations I didn't agree to. I'm reducing inputs this week to protect delivery quality. Replies land after 4 p.m. I don't do same-day strategy. I schedule decisions for Tuesdays and Thursdays. Pair each with a micro-action. Mute one channel, kill one vanity dashboard, set a default response window. Language without behavior doesn't stick. Behavior without language reactivates old fear. Now swap scoreboards. If your metric rewards the trap, your brain will chase it. Replace applause and hours with metrics that compound. Input consistency. 5 synthesis pages per week. 3 delegation prompts shipped. Recovery integrity. 7 consistent sleep windows. Daily 10-minute daylight. Learning velocity. 6 reps to reach agenda to decision. 3 iterations to stakeholder map clarity. These keep you honest when outcomes lag and prevent the work harder reflex from hijacking the plan. Let me pull this together in a mini ritual you can run in 2 minutes each morning. 1. Pick your top 2 roles from the ledger. 2. Write 1 autonomy line for each. I choose to because. 3. Write 1 competence line. I'm practicing to compound. 4. Pick 1 safety line to state out loud and 1 input metric to track. Then do a 60-second minimum viable move before you check anything. 1 sentence, 1 outline, 1 calendar prune. You just paid interest before it ballooned. Common snags and fixes. If choose to feels fake, your because is vague. Tighten it until you can feel the click. If practice blocks keep turning into production work, separate the metrics, reps in practice, value events in production. If boundaries trigger guilt, use graduated language. Not now, after 4, redirecting to X, and log the energy you save. Data beats guilt. If you remember nothing else, language sets prices. Script agency, normalize practice, and signal safety. Then measure what compounds. Do that, and the same calendar starts costing less by design. The 4-beat loop, weekly recontracting. This is the operating rhythm that keeps your identity ledger alive. 4 beats, run once a week. It takes 20-30 minutes, and it prevents debt from rebuilding when life gets loud. Think of it as recontracting with yourself. Close, reprice, recommit, recover. Beat 1, close. You start by closing the week's open loops and naming 3 hidden debts you paid. Why this matters: completion signals safety, and your threat scanner finally stands down. Grab your ledger. List the invisible wins you'd usually ignore. The meeting you converted to a sync, the vanity dashboard you killed, the boundary you held. Then physically close loops. Write down any stray tasks living in your head, pick the smallest next action, and either do it or schedule it. You're telling your nervous system, no ghosts are chasing us. Quick test: take 1 minute to breathe at a steady 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. If your shoulders drop, you've closed enough for today. Now here's where most people mess up. They race past this beat. Don't. Without closure, the next beats feel like adding weight to a shaky shelf. Close first, everything else clicks. Beat 2, reprice. You're going to assign interest rates and kill or park red rolls. Open your traffic lights. For each role and ritual, ask 3 questions. How much dread before? How much vigilance during? How much fatigue after? That's your interest signal. If it's red, you either kill it or park it with a date. Kill means delete, delegate, or auto-archive. Park means I'll revisit on the 1st of next month. Why this works: you're reducing exposure before you add effort. Then, reprice ambers. Swap the scoreboard to something you control, inputs, not applause. Replace be available with batch at 4. Replace hours with value events. You just lowered the weekly rate on your attention. Once you nail repricing, the moral friction drops. The same calendar feels less like a test, more like a plan you chose. Beat 3, recommit. Choose 2 roles for next week and write 1 autonomy line and 1 competence line for each. Keep it simple. I choose to ship 2 value events before noon because decision throughput compounds. I'm practicing agenda to decision to compound meeting ROI. Add 1 safety line that frames boundaries up front. I reply in a batch at 4 to protect delivery quality. Then set 1 minimum viable move for Monday morning. Make it so small you can do it in 5 minutes without willpower. Outline the brief, draft the email skeleton, prune the calendar. The goal isn't to feel ready, it's to make starting cheap. Common mistake: recommitting to 5 roles. Don't spread thin. 2 roles, 1 competence block, 1 boundary. That's it. The rest is noise your brain will chase to avoid novice pain. Beat 4, recover. This is where high achievers rebuild debt by accident. They sprint heroically, then skimp on recovery and flip their threat scanner back on. You're going to schedule dopamine drain resets as maintenance. Pick 2 anchors you'll protect next week: a consistent sleep window and a 10-minute daylight walk daily. Add 1 5-minute breathing slot on your calendar at your afternoon dip. Then pre-commit a stop time for 3 days and 1 full shutoff block on the weekend. Recovery integrity is a metric. Track it like output. If you miss, don't moralize, adjust the plan. The reason this works is simple. When baseline safety holds, autonomy and competence stick. Now, let's build the loop into your week with rehooks so you keep doing it. Every 5 to 7 minutes of the session, give yourself a micro payoff or a quick win. Close a loop, kill 1 red item, write 1 boundary phrase and send it. Then preview the payoff for next week. 2 value events before noon and no late night checks equals calmer evenings. You're training your brain that this ritual creates visible relief. A quick story: a manager drowning in meetings ran this loop for 4 weeks. Week 1, she killed 2 vanity check-ins and parked a leadership program that wasn't this quarter's bottleneck. Week 2, she repriced success as 3 decisions closed and wrote, "I choose to batch Slack at 4 because decision quality beats speed theater." Week 3, she protected a 90-minute competence block on long-form synthesis. Week 4, she added a 72-hour mini reset before a launch. Result: same team, same goals, weekend work dropped to 0, and her felt safety returned. Not because she hustled harder, because she reduced interest. Before we continue, you need to understand the guardrails. If a kill or boundary spikes threat, scale down to an MVM. Convert 1 meeting this week, not 5. If guilt shows up, use the safety script. I'm safe to disappoint expectations I didn't agree to. And if metrics drift back to vanity, set a ledger alarm. 3 days in a row of hours-based thinking triggers a 5-minute repricing check-in. Run the loop on Fridays or Sundays. 20 to 30 minutes max. Close 3 debts, reprice the board, recommit to 2 roles with scripts, schedule recovery anchors. The payoff compounds: clearer starts, steadier afternoons, cleaner stops. And boom, look at that result. You've turned identity from a hidden tax into a weekly asset. Domain playbook work, flip status to value. Let's take this into work, where identity debt hides in plain sight. The goal is simple: flip status to value so your calendar pays you back. We'll shift metrics, prune inputs, use MVMs to break avoidance, reallocate competence, and speak boundaries that lower interest rates on the same workload. Start with the scoreboard. Most teams worship hours, responsiveness, or meeting count, pure status signals. Replace that with value events per role. A value event is a discrete outcome that moves the game. Decision closed, document shipped, bug eliminated, offer accepted, customer insight captured. Define 2 to 3 value events for each active role on your ledger. For director, product, it might be PRD approved, cross-team decision logged, customer synthesis memo shipped. For IC, engineering, it might be merge to main, flake eliminated, on-call incident resolved with doc. Success becomes 2 value events before noon, not 12 hours online. Now kill legacy signals that drag you back. Dashboards that reward busyness keep your threat scanner hot. Pick 1 vanity dashboard to retire this week. If you must keep it, hide it behind a weekly review so it can't hijack your mornings. Trim inputs, unsubscribe from auto reports you don't act on, mute non-critical channels, and set tools to batch notifications. That single change lowers ambient noise and hands back working memory that's been stuck in vigilance. Avoidance next. High-entropy tasks, messy, ambiguous, reputationally risky, tend to stall. Use an MVM to pierce the avoidance bubble. Set a 20-minute starter protocol you can run on command. Write the ugly first outline, list the stakeholders and their likely objections, or draft the decision log skeleton. The rule is start low friction, not low impact. Once you begin, the task's interest rate drops because you moved from unknown to known. If you catch yourself polishing the outline to feel busy, stop at minute 20 and schedule the next block. Wins are payments, not all-at-once payoffs. Now competence reallocation. Pick the quarter's true bottleneck skill and point your practice time at it. Ask, if I were twice as good at one work skill, which would unlock the most value events? Common culprits: agenda to decision, stakeholder mapping, long-form synthesis, hiring bar clarity, prioritization under uncertainty. Then create an input metric you'll actually track. Number of decisions closed, synthesis pages produced, stakeholder maps iterated. Block 60-90 minutes 3 afternoons a week for reps. Keep practice separate from production. Learning velocity in practice, value events in production. That boundary protects novice pain from performance theater and compounds faster than heroic sprints. Boundaries in negotiations and daily flow come next. Use autonomy phrasing to keep your prefrontal online. I choose to because, in practice. I choose to convert this status meeting to a decision memo because agenda to decision compounds throughput. I choose to reply in a 4 p.m. batch because uninterrupted mornings protect delivery quality. I choose 2 value events before noon because early decisions reduce context switching. Pair the phrase with a visible rule: agenda required for meetings, default async, decision dates on invites. You're shrinking the audience and the ambiguity that fuels vigilance. Let me show you exactly how a day flips. Old day, open 5 dashboards, skim Slack to feel safe, accept a meeting without an agenda, push real work to evening, sleep fragments repeat. New day, declare 2 value events, run a 20-minute MVM on the highest entropy task, protect a 90-minute competence block, batch comms at 4, stop at a set time. Same calendar capacity, but you change the pricing model. Dread drops, context switching falls, sleep stabilizes, and working memory comes back online. Negotiation moments are leverage points. When someone asks for a quick sync, use a graduated no ladder. Redirect, negotiate, then decline. I choose a sync first because we're closing 2 decisions today. Drop the agenda in the doc and I'll respond by 4. If they insist, time box and put a decision at the end. 15 minutes, decision or next step by minute 12. That protects competence practice and prevents meetings from expanding to fill insecurity. Kill legacy signals at the team level if you lead. Replace leaderboards of tickets touched with value events shipped. Publish a weekly decision log instead of a status parade. Reward recovery integrity publicly. Call out teammates who kept the sleep window through a launch. You're teaching the system that safety is maintained by clarity, not theater. Common pitfalls and counters. Pitfall, metric drift back to hours and applause. Counter, set a Friday 5-minute ledger alarm if you counted hours twice that week, reprice your board. Pitfall, heroic sprints after repricing. Counter, pre-commit stop times and a weekend shutoff block, track recovery integrity like output. Pitfall, silent contracts with old audiences. Counter, send one clear expectation reset, we're defaulting to decision memos, replies land daily at 4. A quick micro story. A founder with sunk hires clung to all hands and ping-ready Slack. We flipped to value events, 2 decisions and 1 synthesis memo daily, killed 3 vanity reports, and installed a 20-minute MVM for investor updates. He added a competence block on stakeholder mapping and used, I choose to batch comms at 4 because decision quality beats speed theater. In 2 weeks, he saved 20 hours, weekends returned, and team pace rose, same goals, lower interest. If you remember nothing else, define value events, kill busyness signals, start with a 20-minute MVM, practice the bottleneck skill, and speak boundaries with I choose to because. That's how work starts compounding instead of collecting fees. Domain playbook, relationships, boundaries with safety. Work isn't the only place identity debt piles up. Relationships quietly rebuild it through roles you've overpaid for. Fixer, mediator, permanent yes. If success at work feels unsafe, home should be your safety account, not another creditor. We'll identify overpaid roles, add safety signals, reprice gatherings, and repair with low-stakes bids so connection grows while your nervous system stays calm. Start by spotting the traps. The fixer jumps in before feelings surface, trading peace now for resentment later. The mediator absorbs everyone's tension to keep the room smooth. The permanent yes treats every ask as a worth test. Audit prompts, whose texts trigger instant replies. Where do you say it's fine while your body tightens? Which recurring plans you dread but still attend? Put those in your ledger as red or amber roles. Now, safety signals. Your goal is to make boundaries feel safe, physically in your body, linguistically in your words, and socially in the room. Physically, before tough talks, run 1 minute of 5-second inhale, 5-second exhale. Shoulders down, jaw unclench. Your body broadcasts calm, which lowers threat for both sides. Linguistically, use autonomy phrasing with truth. I choose to skip tonight because I'm protecting recovery for a big delivery. Or I'll call tomorrow after 4, that's when I'm off deep work. Socially, shrink stimulus. Fewer group chats, fewer rapid-fire threads, more scheduled check-ins. Predictability equals safety. Use a graduated no ladder so you don't flip from rescuer to rebel. 4 rungs: yes with terms, redirect, negotiate timing, decline. Examples: yes with terms, yes, happy to help Saturday 10-11 only. Redirect, that's Joe's lane, looping him in. Negotiate timing, can do next week, this week's bandwidth is spoken for. Decline, I'm not available for that. Script the first 2 in your notes. When stress spikes, your brain grabs rehearsed language. Reprice gatherings so they're energy neutral. Set ground rules that protect connection and capacity. Time box by default, where they're 6-8. Establish a default exit. We'll Irish goodbye at 8 if the kids melt. Pick venues you can regulate, quiet tables, walks, daytime coffee over 10 p.m. noise. For family, create seasonal renegotiation windows. Through June, we're doing one big Sunday a month. We'll revisit after the launch. Calendars beat ad hoc guilt. For couples or close friends, replace status check convos with value events of connection. Define 2 per week, a 20-minute walk without phones and a meals on the table debrief with 1 honest share each. Metric shift, not time together in hours, but bids offered and received. A bid is a small reach. Listen to this, look at this. Can I vent? Track 2 to 3 bids each way per day. That keeps relatedness high even when bandwidth is low. Repair identity debt with gratitude specificity and low-stakes bids. Gratitude that compounds sounds like, thanks for moving your call, protecting my 7 a.m. sunlight walk helped me focus today. You're linking their support to a visible payoff, which trains the system that boundaries serve the relationship. Low-stakes bids rebuild safety without drama. A shared playlist, a meme, a 2-minute check in voice note. Small, predictable, frequent, your nervous system loves that. Let me show you exactly how to run a weekly relationship recontract. 5 minutes Sundays. Step 1, list the week's hidden debts paid, 1 no you held, 1 event you repriced. Step 2, pick 2 relationship value events for next week and schedule them. Step 3, write 1 boundary phrase you expect to use and send 1 expectation setting message today. Step 4, add a micro recovery anchor you'll protect together, a shared 10-minute walk, lights down by 10. You're aligning autonomy with connection. Common mistakes: 1, boundary monologues. Keep it short, specific, and paired with a plan. I'm not available tonight. Let's do lunch Friday, I'll book it. 2, secret scorekeeping. If you keep tallies, you'll signal threat. Use explicit metrics you both see: 2 walks, 1 movie, 3 bids each. 3, overcorrecting into avoidance. If you cancel, propose a concrete alternative within a week so safety doesn't erode. A quick micro story. A manager and her partner were locked in late-night resentment loops. She installed batch replies at 4, set a stop time, and told the truth. I choose to stop at 6 because recovery protects tomorrow's delivery. They repriced evenings to 2 value events, 20-minute walk and 10-minute couch check-in. She used the no ladder with friends. Yes, Saturday 10-11, and next week works. This week's bandwidth is spoken for. In 10 days, arguments dropped, sleep steadied, and weekends felt roomy. Not because they tried harder, but because safety rose and the interest rate fell. If you remember nothing else, boundaries are safety, not distance. Lead with truthful timing, use graduated no's, set energy-neutral rules, and count bids, not hours. When relationships stop taxing your nervous system, your best work shows up energy as master constraint. If work is where value compounds, your body is the bank that funds it. Treat energy as the master constraint. When baseline safety holds, autonomy and competence stick. When it wobbles, you pay the vigilance tax all day. We'll target the fastest ROI: sleep, movement cadence, nutrition stability, and recovery metrics that actually map to felt clarity. Sleep first, because nothing repays debt faster. Pick 1 consistent sleep window, same 90-minute band every night for the next 2 weeks. That single constraint stabilizes circadian timing and lowers baseline threat, so you stop waking up already taxed. 30 minutes before bed, run a quick close. Write tomorrow's first next action, put the phone in another room, dim lights, then a short downshift cue, warm shower, stretch, or 3 minutes of slow nasal breathing at 5 seconds in, 5 out. You're telling your nervous system, we're safe, we rest. Most people feel next day clarity jump inside a week. Now movement, ditch heroic bursts. Your body prefers cadence stacks, small, predictable bouts that keep the system calm. Aim for 3 anchors, a 10-minute walk in morning light, a 5-minute mobility or strength snack midday, and another 10-minute walk late afternoon. Add 1 longer session weekly if you want, but the stacks carry the load. Why this works? Steady movement drains stress chemistry without spiking novelty cravings, so you're less likely to chase dopamine hits when focus dips. If you lift, cap volume before form degrades. We're protecting tomorrow's brain, not chasing today's pump. Nutrition next, with one goal, glycemic stability. Wild swings feel like anxiety on the way up and brain fog on the way down. Anchor meals to protein, fiber, and slow carbs. Eat at roughly consistent times. Front-load your first 2 meals with protein to reduce afternoon urges to snack scroll. If coffee jitters you, push caffeine to after breakfast and cap it 8 to 10 hours before bed. This isn't a diet, it's threat prevention. A steady glucose curve keeps your threat scanner quiet and your working memory online. Recovery metrics matter, but pick the right ones. Vanity tallies, calories torched, steps flexed, rarely map to felt safety. Track recovery integrity and subjective calm. Recovery integrity is a simple weekly score. Nights you hit the sleep window, daylight exposures taken, movement stacks completed. Subjective calm is a 1-5 rating right after lunch and before bed. How settled do I feel? Pair those with one physiological proxy if you like. HRV in a wearable or resting heart rate upon waking, but let subjective calm lead decisions. If your ring says go hard and your body says edgy, protect the baseline. Now, stitch this into your day so the ledger stays green under stress. Morning. Step outside within an hour of waking for 5 to 10 minutes. Horizon gaze, no sunglasses if safe. Speak one autonomy line out loud. I choose to ship 2 value events before noon because early decisions reduce context switching. Then do a 5-minute minimum viable move before inputs. Midday, walk 10 minutes without your phone, eat protein and fiber, then reopen your ledger and kill 1 red task or convert it to a sync. Afternoon dip, run 5 minutes of 5-6 breaths per minute or a brisk 5-minute stare set to reset. Evening, close loops on paper, speak a safety boundary if needed. Replies land after 4, lights down, same wind down cue, sleep window defended. Common mistakes and counters. Mistake, weekend cheat windows that blow up sleep timing. Counter, hold the window within 60 minutes on weekends, drift less, recover more. Mistake, trading cadence for a single brutal session because you owe the gym. Counter, protect stacks, add intensity only if tomorrow still looks clear. Mistake, supplement shopping to fix behavior problems. Counter, earn any tool, magnesium, light box, mouth tape, after you've kept the window and the walk 7 days. Tools amplify routines, they don't replace them. A quick micro story. A creator prepping a launch felt wired at night and dull by noon. We set a 10-36-30 window, added morning light and 2 10-minute walks, pushed coffee to after breakfast, and anchored lunch to protein and fiber. He tracked recovery integrity, not steps, and ran a 5-minute afternoon breath set. Within 9 days, he reported deeper mornings, cleaner shuts, and fewer urge spikes. Same workload, lower interest. If you remember nothing else, energy isn't a reward, it's infrastructure. Lock the sleep window, stack small movements, stabilize glucose, and track recovery with calm, not vanity. Protect the bank, and your best work pays you back. The Identity OS, a daily flow that endures. Let's turn everything into a daily flow that keeps interest rates low even when life gets loud. 4 touch points each day, morning, midday, afternoon, evening, plus a light weekly and monthly cadence so the system compounds without heroics. Morning is your state reset and role selection. Before inputs, step outside for 5 to 10 minutes of daylight. Slow nasal breathing, horizon gaze. Then open your identity ledger and pick 2 active roles for today. Write 1 autonomy line and say it out loud. I choose to ship 2 value events before noon because early decisions reduce context switching. Now do a 5-minute minimum viable move on the highest entropy task. 1 ugly outline, 1 stakeholder list, 1 decision log skeleton. That single start shrinks ambiguity and tells your nervous system, we're in choice, not chase. 2 quick guardrails here. If you catch, I should, rewrite it as I choose to because, until it lands honest. If you want to check dashboards first, just to feel safe, don't. Your safety comes from clarity and action, not from scanning. The morning is for setting the scoreboard, not for proving you're not behind. Midday is your MVM pulse and ledger reopen. Take a 10-minute walk without your phone, then glance at the ledger. Kill one red task outright or convert one meeting to a sync with a decision doc. Say a safety line before you re-enter comms. I'm batching replies at 4 to protect delivery quality. Then check once for fires and log one value event you've already shipped. That tiny win tells your brain that progress is happening now, so it stops chasing novelty to feel alive. If you're slammed and tempted to skip this, run the 2-minute version. Stand, exhale longer than you inhale, pick one red item, and either delete or schedule it. Paying interest at midday prevents the evening debt spiral that drags into your sleep window. Afternoon is your competence block. This is protected practice on the quarter's bottleneck skill, separate from production. Set a rep target, 3 agenda to decision reps, 2 synthesis pages, 1 stakeholder map iteration. Start with the competence script. I'm practicing X to compound Y, keep the scoreboard clean, learning velocity here, value events elsewhere. If a meeting tries to eat this time, use autonomy language to negotiate. I choose to keep this block because decision throughput depends on this skill. Can we move to tomorrow with an agenda? The win is cadence, not perfection. 2 or 3 blocks a week compound faster than a single binge that triggers a backlash. Evening is close and recover. 30 minutes before bed, close loops physically. Write tomorrow's first next action for your 2 roles, park stray tasks on paper, shut browser tabs, and place your phone outside the bedroom. Say a safety line out loud. I'm safe to disappoint expectations I didn't agree to, replies land after 4. Then run your wind down cue, dim lights, warm shower, 3-minute slow breathing, and defend your sleep window. You're preserving the bank that funds tomorrow's clarity. Now the weekly rhythm, the 4-beat loop. Friday or Sunday, 20 to 30 minutes tops. Close 3 hidden debts you paid, reprice the board with traffic lights, recommit to 2 roles with fresh autonomy and competence lines, and schedule recovery anchors, consistent sleep window and daily daylight. Add 1 micro reset block on a high-stress day, 90 minutes of reduced inputs and 1 MVM. That's maintenance, not punishment. Monthly, run a role review and kill party. Open the ledger and scan for sunk status, roles, rituals, and audiences that no longer move your current game. Pick one to kill or park for 30 days. Announce the change with precise language. I'm pausing this series because long-form synthesis is the bottleneck this month. That public clarity lowers social threat and stops silent agreements from rebuilding debt. Let me show you exactly how this OS feels on a launch week. Monday morning, you declare 2 value events and do a 5-minute MVM on the riskiest doc. Midday, you kill 1 vanity dashboard and convert a status meeting to a decision memo. Afternoon, you run a 60-minute stakeholder mapping rep. Evening, you close loops and hit your sleep window. Wednesday gets loud, so you insert a 72-hour mini reset, reduced novelty, daylight anchors, batch replies at 4. Friday, you run the 4 beats, park a red roll, and schedule 2 anchors for next week. Output stays steady, dread doesn't. Common mistakes and quick fixes. Mistake, turning the OS into a checklist competition. Fix, keep metrics to inputs and learning velocity, delete gold stars. Mistake, skipping the tiny MVM because 5 minutes won't matter. Fix, 5 minutes lowers interest. It's the payment that prevents the spiral. Mistake, running boundaries silently. Fix, send 1 expectation setting message Monday morning. Your body relaxes when words match actions. If you remember nothing else, the OS isn't more to do, it's a pricing model. Morning sets choice, midday pays interest early, afternoon compounds competence, evening protects the bank. Weekly you recontract, monthly you kill sunk status. Kept simple and honest, this flow endures under pressure and hands you back the 30–50% of working memory you've been spending on threat. Pitfalls, 3 ways high achievers rebuild debt. You've got the OS running, interest rates dropping, then boom, the old fees sneak back in. 3 traps do most of the damage, and each has a clean counter. Spot them early and you keep your 30–50% working memory win. Trap 1, heroic sprints without reserves. This looks like I'll just push through this week. Except the week becomes 2, sleep drifts, novelty cravings spike, and your threat scanner reactivates. You mistake adrenaline for momentum and pay with edgy focus, shallow evenings, and sloppy decisions. The nervous system reads the pattern as danger, so autonomy and competence stop sticking. Countermeasure, pre-commit stop times and a recovery floor. Before a sprint, write 2 lines. I choose to stop at 6 because tomorrow's decision quality funds the launch, and I'm protecting a 10-10, 30 sleep window and daily daylight. Add a ledger alarm on day 3. If you miss 2 anchors in a row, you insert a 72-hour mini reset, reduced novelty, morning light, breathing cadence, batch replies at 4. You're telling your system, we sprint, then we land. Cadence beats theater. Trap 2, silent agreements. You kill a meeting, park a role, switch to decision memos, then you never tell the old audience. They keep pinging, you keep replying just to be nice, and the invisible contract rebuilds. This is identity lag by stealth. Your external world runs old code, so your nervous system stays in vigilance. Countermeasure, red team your expectations and send pre-commit templates Monday morning. We're defaulting to async decision docs. I reply at 4 p.m. daily. I've paused X for 30 days. I'm practicing Y because it compounds throughput. Use graduated no's in real time. Yes with terms, redirect, negotiate, decline, and log every exception once. If you make the same exception twice, it's a policy, either bless it or block it. Clarity lowers social threat, unspoken deliverables rebuild it. Trap 3, metric drift. Hours, responsiveness, and applause creep back onto the scoreboard because they're loud and easy to count. You start grading practice by outcomes, judge days by Slack speed, and chase dashboards for a hit of I'm good. Drift pulls you out of autonomy and back into approval loops. The cost is attention burnt on status theater. Countermeasure, replacement metrics with alarms. Inputs over applause, recovery integrity over grit, learning velocity over time spent. Install a Friday 5-minute repricing check. If you referenced hours twice, you reframe 2 roles to value events. If you skipped competence blocks, you schedule 3 60-minute reps next week. If recovery integrity fell below 5 of 7 sleep windows, you auto-insert a 72-hour stabilization the following week. Keep the scoreboard visible, 2 value events, 3 reps, 7 anchors. If it isn't on the board, it isn't real. 2 more micro pitfalls to watch. First, all or nothing thinking on boundaries. You hold the line perfectly for 3 days, slip once, then abandon the plan. Fix, write the relapse script now. I slipped into feeds labeling it. Running a 60-second reset, stand, long exhale, far gaze, water, then back to the MVM. Second, upgrading the ritual into a burden. You turn the OS into a 20-point checklist and trigger rebellion. Fix, minimum viable OS on heavy days, morning daylight, 1 choose to because, 5-minute MVM, 5-minute breath in the afternoon, sleep window. 4 moves, that's it. A quick field story. A VP nailed value events for 2 weeks, then a board cycle hit. He sprinted, skipped his stop time, answered DMs late to be a team player, and reintroduced a vanity dashboard just for launch. By Friday, he felt wired and behind. We ran the counter. Expectation email Monday killed the dashboard, locked a 10:36:30 window, and installed a 72-hour reset, grayscale phone, daylight anchors, batch at 4. By Wednesday, decision quality was back and evenings were quiet. Same targets, lower interest. If you remember nothing else, heroics without reserves, silence instead of scripts, and metric drift are the fastest ways to rebuild debt. Pre-commit your stop and anchors, speak your new contracts out loud, and let replacement metrics run the week. Intention, obstacle, stakes, resolution. Let's validate the OS with real people. 3 snapshots, a creator, a founder, and a manager. Same pattern every time, autonomy phrasing, competence reallocation, and safety cues drop the interest rate fast. Client A, creator with flatlining retention. Intention, grow from 30% to something that feels alive without burning out. Obstacle, his calendar worshipped status, daily uploads, 5 dashboards, late night polish. He woke up scanning, not choosing. Stakes, sponsors circling, audience churn, creeping dread that more hustle meant less heart. We started with autonomy. He wrote, I choose to ship 2 value events before noon because early decisions reduce context switching. He killed a vanity dashboard and batched replies at 4. Competence reallocation. Long-form synthesis reps, 3 pages per afternoon, scored on pages not views. Safety cue. I'm safe to disappoint the algorithm this week. I'll publish 1 learning piece outside the mold. Resolution. Within 3 weeks, retention climbed to 65% on deeper videos, evenings calmed, and the dread dropped because the scoreboard changed. Same effort, lower interest. What clicked? He stopped paying approval tax and started paying practice. The language gave agency, the reps built the rate-limiting skill, the safety script shrank the audience in his head. His nervous system read choice, not chase, and handed back working memory. Client B, founder tangled in sunk hires. Intention, reclaim time to actually lead. Obstacle, identity fused to being the reliable one. He overchecked Slack, sat in every meeting, and used hours as proof. Stakes, payroll pressure, decision bottlenecks, weekend work bleeding into home. We began with safety signaling to lower vigilance. He sent 1 expectation reset. We're defaulting to async decision docs. Replies land at 4 p.m. He grayscaled his phone and ran a 72-hour stabilization. Reduced novelty, daylight anchors, breathing cadence, consistent sleep window. Autonomy script. I choose to outdecide, not outwork, because value events compound faster than hours. Competence pivot. Stakeholder mapping reps, 3 maps per week, paired with the metric decisions closed. He parked a legacy all hands and killed 2 status reports. Resolution. In 14 days, he saved roughly 20 hours a week, meetings halved, and the team's pace rose because decisions moved. Weekends returned without a hero run. The win wasn't magic. It was repricing attention and safety first. What clicked? The 72-hour reset quieted his threat scanner, so boundaries finally stuck. With baseline safer, autonomy and competence compounded instead of bouncing off anxiety. Client C, manager and chronic people pleaser. Intention, stop working weekends without tanking team trust. Obstacle, silent agreements everywhere, open DMs, instant replies, quick syncs with no agenda. Stakes, near burnout, private resentment at home, and a fear that one no would nuke her reputation. We ran the 4-beat loop on Fridays. Close, name 3 hidden debts paid. Reprice, traffic light rolls, red meetings died or moved to async. Recommit, 2 roles only with scripts. I choose to batch Slack at 4 because decision quality beats speed theater. And I'm practicing agenda to decision to compound meeting ROI. Recover, sleep window held and daily daylight. She installed the graduated no ladder, yes with terms, redirect, negotiate timing, decline, and rehearsed 1 line. Agenda or decision by minute 12. Resolution. Weekend work dropped to 0 in a month. Trust didn't collapse, it grew, because expectations were clear and decisions sped up. What clicked? Rehearsed language plus visible rules. Her body believed the boundary because it was specific, repeatable, and tied to value events. Safety rose, so the vigilance tax fell. Let me pull out the pattern you can copy today. Intention is always a clear value event you control. Obstacle is usually identity lag, old roles, legacy metrics, sunk status. Stakes are nervous system economics. Burn attention on threat and you stall, reduce interest and you compound. Resolution blends 3 moves. Autonomy language that's true for your body. I choose to because. Competence reallocation to the rate-limiting skill with input metrics. Reps, pages, decisions. Safety cues that shrink stimulus. Daylight anchors, breathing cadence, expectation resets, and fewer dashboards. 2 rapid micro-stories to round it out. A staff engineer avoided a risky refactor. We ran a 20-minute MVM, list dependencies, draft rollback plan, log a decision date. He spoke, I choose to close 1 decision before noon because early momentum compounds, and booked 2 synthesis pages per week. He muted 2 channels and batch replied at 4. In 10 days, the refactor shipped and on-calls quieted. Same code base, lower interest. A solopreneur clung to being the brand, posting safe volume. We swapped to I'm a person who creates a brand, published 1 practice in public note weekly, killed 1 vanity series, and set the metric to 3 learning reps. He used the safety script, I'm safe to disappoint the algorithm this week, and ran the 72-hour reset before a new offer. Result, fewer likes, more sales calls, calmer launches. If you're hearing a theme, you're right. Language creates agency, practice compounds skill, safety keeps it all online. Pick 1 case, steal 1 move, and run it this week. Your nervous system will feel the rate drop. What if scenarios, edge cases, and advanced tweaks? Let's stress test the OS in messy realities. These tweaks keep momentum when constraints are weird, public, or medical. Public brand identity, phased debranding protocol. If your name is the product, go gradual to avoid threat spikes. Phase 1, diversify formats under the same umbrella. Add learning logs and behind-the-scenes notes to signal you're a person, not a mascot. Safety script. I'm safe to disappoint the algorithm once a week. I'll publish one practice piece. Phase 2, introduce sub-brands for topics so exploration doesn't hit your main feed every time. Metrics, learning reps per sub-brand and value events in the main. Phase 3, formalize personas. Studio publishes polished work, lab publishes experiments. Expect a short dip in applause and a rise in felt freedom. Your nervous system reads the plan as safe because the audience shift is paced and named. Family expects the old role, seasonal renegotiation calendar. Identity lag shows up hardest at home. Create 4 renegotiation windows per year and put them on the family calendar. 2 weeks before each window, gather friction points. At the session, run a tiny 4-beat loop. Close wins, reprice drains, recommit 2 family value events, schedule recovery anchors that help everyone. Scripts that work. I choose to be present at dinner because it compounds connection, and Sundays 6-8 are hours. I'll decline outside invites by default. Use a graduated no ladder with relatives. Yes with terms, negotiate date, redirect, decline. You're reducing social threat through predictability, not surprise boundaries. Acute burnout, 30-day debt holiday with OS Lite. If you're cooked, scale down to keep the system alive without pretending you can sprint. OS Lite is 4 moves only. Morning daylight, 1, choose to because line, a 5-minute MVM, and a strict sleep window. Kill ambitious metrics, track recovery integrity and subjective calm. Set a cap, 2 value events per day max. Autonomy script. I choose to heal capacity because future value depends on it. Safety script to stakeholders. For 30 days I'm running reduced inputs to protect delivery quality. Replies land at 4. After week 2, add 1 30-minute competence rep on the gentlest version of your bottleneck skill. The point is not to impress. It's to stop the interest spiral and restore basic trust in starts and stops. ADHD patterns, shorter MVM loops and environmental scaffolding. The brain craves novelty and rejects low dopamine starts. Use 3 5-minute MVMs chained together, each with a tiny reward. Outline title, sip coffee, list 3 stakeholders, stand and stretch. Write first sentence, 2 minutes of upbeat music. Make friction your friend. Block dopamine drains with app timers, grayscale, and a phone in another room. Preload decision points the night before, open the doc, write the first line in brackets, drop the calendar link into the task. Metrics, reps and starts, not duration. Safety cue, I'm safe to work in sprints, recovery is part of the plan. If meds are in play, pair competence blocks to your dose curve and keep the sleep window ruthless. Stability multiplies the benefit. Distributed teams and odd hours, asymmetry without anxiety. When time zones kill overlap, default to decision memos with decision dates. Autonomy line, I choose async first because it compounds throughput across zones. Set a comms window you'll actually hit and publish it. Replace be online with 2 value events before my noon. Protect a personal morning, even if it's 2 p.m., the body needs an anchor. Use light boxes or evening walks if daylight is hard. The cue matters more than the clock. High-stakes launches, safety by design. Pre-commit a 72-hour stabilization right before kickoff. Reduced novelty, daylight anchors, breathing cadence, batch at 4. Publish a rules of launch doc, decision owners, stop times, recovery anchors, and a relapse script for the team. If we chase dashboards at night, we pause, breathe, and return to the decision log. You'll feel calmer without losing speed. If you remember nothing else, edge cases aren't exceptions, they're contexts. Shrink stimulus, script truth, swap metrics you control, and pace identity shifts. That's how you keep compounding when life gets weird. The 3-step action plan, implementation sprint. Let's lock this in with a 7-day sprint. 3 steps, 20-30 minutes each, plus 1 visible quick win so your nervous system trusts the change. Step 1, draft the identity ledger. Set a 20-minute timer. List your active roles and rituals. Tag each green, amber, or red based on dread before, vigilance during, and fatigue after. Add a hidden promise column and guess the contract in one sentence. Write one replacement clause for the top 3 using autonomy, competence, or safety language. End by defining 2 value events per key role. This creates your price list, so we're not arguing with feelings. Step 2, run a 72-hour dopamine drain reset. You're stabilizing the baseline so scripts stick. For 3 days, reduce novelty binges, batch comms at 4, anchor daylight 5-10 minutes in the morning, keep a consistent sleep window, and use 5-second inhale/5-second exhale twice daily. Pair food with protein and fiber to flatten glucose swings. Log recovery integrity each night. Your quick win target is a 15% focus return, 1 messy doc shipped faster, 1 meeting converted to a sync, proof your threat scanner dialed down. Step 3, install the 4-beat loop. Pick Friday or Sunday, 20-30 minutes. Close 3 hidden debts you paid. Reprice the board, kill or park 1 red item, swap hours for value events. Recommit to 2 roles with 1 autonomy line and 1 competence line each. Schedule recovery anchors, sleep window, daylight walk, 1 5-minute breathing slot. Then front-load Monday, a 5-minute MVM on the riskiest task before inputs. Expected outcome. Within 7 days, you'll feel 20-30% cognitive relief. The reason this works is you reduced interest on attention, restored working memory, and pointed practice at the real bottleneck. Your move now, start the 20-minute ledger draft. When the timer ends, send 1 expectation reset that matches your new rules. Your body will relax when words and actions line up. Future pacing, your next 90 days debt-free. Let's map your next 90 days so the interest rate keeps dropping and your capacity keeps compounding. The picture you're aiming for is a flat energy graph across the day, steady mornings, solid afternoons, clean stops. Not hype, just reliable output without the vigilance tax. Month 1 is stabilization and clarity. You keep the OS Light core non-negotiable. Morning daylight, 1 honest I choose to because line, a 5-minute MVM before inputs, a 60-90-minute competence block 2 to 3 times a week, and a defended sleep window. You run the 4-beat loop weekly and kill or park 1 red roll every Friday or Sunday. Recovery integrity becomes visible, 7 consistent sleep windows, daily daylight, and 2 short breathing sets per week. Metrics live on 1 card. Value events shipped, practice reps logged, recovery anchors kept. You're proving to your nervous system that choice is normal, starts are cheap, and stops are safe. By week 3 or 4, you layer in precision. You tighten your autonomy language so the because lands clean every time. You formalize your value events by role and publish them to stakeholders if relevant. You phase out 1 vanity dashboard entirely and convert 2 recurring meetings to decision memos with decision dates. You'll notice your afternoons stop wobbling. That's your interest rate falling and 30-50% of previously taxed working memory coming back online. Month 2 is expansion through competence. You pick the quarter's rate-limiting skill and make it a ritual. 3 reps a week, scored on learning velocity, not outcome. You record your pattern, how many reps to clarity, how many iterations to a crisp decision, how often your agenda to decision hits in 12 minutes. Your language shifts from I need to be great to I'm practicing X to compound Y, which keeps the prefrontal online when stakes rise. You also standardize boundaries you've tested. Batch at 4, agenda required, default async. Expect friction here. When it shows up, use safety scripts and graduated no's. The point is to hold the line calmly and consistently, not to win debates. In parallel, you run 1 72-hour stabilization ahead of a known stressor, launch, review cycle, travel. Reduced novelty, daylight anchors, graded breathing, consistent sleep window, batched comms. That move proves to your system that you can go fast without flipping back into chase mode. It also keeps you from paying the panic premium afterward. Month 3 is integration and scale. You take the 4-beat loop to the team or family level in a lightweight way. Publish value events as the scoreboard. Share your comms windows and decision rules. Make recovery visible so it becomes cultural, not personal. You run a monthly kill party and retire 1 legacy role, ritual, or audience that doesn't fit the current game. You add 1 OS walkthrough to your calendar, 20 minutes to audit metric drift, silent agreements, and any heroics sneaking back in. If drift appears, you reprice and reset immediately instead of waiting for a crash. Here's the signal you're on track. You can consume 3 to 4 of your own sessions. MVMs, competence blocks, 4 beat loops without recoil. No dread spike, no bargaining, just start, do, stop. That's nervous system trust. Work feels like choice again. Even on heavy days, your minimum viable OS holds. Morning daylight, 1 autonomy line, 5-minute MVM, 5-minute breath, sleep window. And when momentum dips, you don't moralize, you adjust the pricing. Where this goes next is deeper safety signaling for high-stress launches and public stakes. We'll zoom in on team-wide expectation resets, decision logs that reduce after-hours spirals, and relapse scripts you can run in 2 minutes when the feed gets sticky. For now, lock the next 90 days to the simple pattern. Set choice, pay interest early, compound 1 skill, protect the bank, and kill sunk status monthly. Keep the scoreboard to value events, reps, and recovery integrity. That's how you keep the graph flat and the interest low. Here's the core idea. When you reprice identity with truthful language, focused practice, and real safety, you stop paying the vigilance tax and your best work gets cheap again. If this clicked, draft your identity ledger today and kill 1 red roll this week. Then watch the safety signaling deep dive next to lock the gains and scale momentum. Subscribe for more practical systems that hand you back time, energy, and calm.